All right, guys. We should be starting up right now. If we're not, first people in chat, if you could go ahead and say something, that'd be wonderful. We're going to look at polling-related information at the beginning of this video. The primary reason I have to do that is the first, I don't know, 10 plus minutes, I probably need to talk just about polling-related stuff in order to get past the monetization censors. So we're going to be doing that. Trying to basically keep it to where I can still get paid and tell you guys the news while you get your Kamala advertisements. So it's gonna be fun. Alexi, hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, Sulis, how you doing? So to start off with here, guys, the polls show Trump right now, as Rasmussen reports, one of the most accurate pollsters out there. Atlas Intel is actually better. We'll be looking at that in a little bit too. But their latest polling information showed Trump winning by a pretty steady margin, sitting at about 50 on his side, with Kamala at 45. So a 5-point lead in a poll taken in the last 24 hours. And this is the popular vote, guys. Something that just dwarfs what happened in the last election. We also want to see what CNN has to say here, guys. Michael Quinn, hey, buddy, love you too. Let's listen to what CNN.
Democrat against.
Let's listen to what CNN has to say about how well Kamala Harris is doing in the polls.
Donald Trump in history on national polls. No one's performing worse among blacks, among Hispanics, the worst performing Democrat in modern history among those demographics, worst performing polling wise among Jews. She is losing key factions of the Democratic base. Muslim voters, she's at under 50, she's at 52% in the latest CARE poll among black Muslims. She is not doing well.
That lady's face at the end, can we just go back and see that again? Can we just look at the sadness? Can we look at the sadness in her face? She's like, oh, Kamala ain't gonna get it. Kamala ain't gonna get it. I'm sorry for you, lady. I'm sorry your biased liberal media sources aren't working for you today. Charlie Kirk. Gosh, I'm gonna get censored again. It's gonna happen, guys. I just can't keep my mouth shut. Charlie Kirk, brilliant orator, such a well-spoken and a knowledgeable person who, for somebody who does not have he had a community college degree, a little more than I've had, but still amazing. He says early voting begins today in Virginia, where the latest polls show the state neck and neck. Trump supporters are swarming the polls, chanting Trump, 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 make America great again. We have the energy, we have the enthusiasm. Let's win. Let's just watch some of these videos.
Locations in Fairfax County alone. They're going to open another 13 of these locations in the beginning of October. So they expect a lot of people to vote early.
Oh, jeez. I tell you what, guys, I just got done too. There's a guy in town that sells flags and stuff. I took him in a ride in the Cybertruck and hooked him up with $50 for a $20 flag, and he's very excited. And he loved the Cybertruck and loved Elon Musk. You can just see how X being around has changed people's perception so much in the last year and a half. Not even a year and a half. It's amazing, guys. It's amazing what we've seen and change here. Yeah, what is it? It's not even a year. It's insane. Eric Dougherty says new North Carolina 2024 election mail-in requests show a clear difference from 2020. So to be clear, the difference is an 11.3% drop in Democrats that have mail-in requests versus Republicans seeing a 5.12% increase. This is good stuff, guys. Everything like this that we're seeing is very positive. Also, this is the Rasmussen poll. National polling continues to show Trump lead. This was actually a little bit delayed, though, from the last one that we just did that I showed you. So we'll move on. Let's listen to CNN analysts talking about how things would play out because of the disparity in polling right now that we're seeing with Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, how it would play out in an actual election victory if things were to remain the same as they are right now. Before we hit that, please hit the like, guys. Please support it. These political streams get me demonetized every time. They don't want me to preach these messages, so everything you guys do to help spread the word helps the channel, so I really appreciate it. Sela says, I mean, damn, it took a lot to make millions of Americans like Trump, but his opponents pulled it off. Yes, that, and again, people like Elon Musk and Robert F. Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard and Vivek could have been bitter about not getting the presidential nominee. No, man, he fights for the country. And again, Shanahan, amazing leader. So many great people, including Elon Musk. But let's listen to this real quick here from CNN. CNN.
My goodness gracious, could the race be any tighter in these battleground states? Look, in the Great Lakes, you got Harris by 2 in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, well within the margin of error. How about in the Sun Belt, though? It's even tighter. You got a 1-point race in Nevada favoring Kamala Harris. You got a less than 1-point race in North Carolina, Trump ahead, but we're talking about like 0.2 percentage points. Arizona, a 1-point advantage. Georgia, a 1-point advantage for Donald Trump. The race, very, very close. Now, let's just say the polls were exactly right. What does that mean for the electoral map? Well, it would mean a really tight race. Look at this. Kamala Harris getting 276 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 262, mostly on the basis of winning these Great Lake battleground states, despite the fact that Trump carries 3 of the 4 Sunbelt battleground states. But the bottom line is, Kate Baldwin and dear audience, this race is tight, tight, tight.
Now, in the realm of playing the hypotheticals.
Yes.
So let's do that.
Yes, I love those.
Comparing how, if the polling is off, if the polling is off like it was in 2020, what would that do to?
Oh, well, sorry about that, guys. Let me get back to it.
In these Great Lake battleground states, despite the fact that Trump carries 3 of the 4.
Do that.
Yes, I love those.
Comparing how, if the polling is off, if the polling is off like it was in 2020, what would that do to the electoral map?
So look at Donald Trump's electoral vote total right now, if the polls are exactly right, 262. But let's say the polls are off like they were back in 2020.
Boom!
Where he goes to 300. Why is that? Because the polls underestimated Donald Trump in 2020. So the bottom line is, instead of losing those Great Lake battleground states, he wins all of them. He obviously holds on to North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, and he gains Nevada. So if the polls are as good as they were in 2020, despite the fact that at this particular hour Donald Trump trails in enough states to give Kamala Harris the victory, if the polls are off like they were in 2020, Donald Trump would actually win the election.
Handedly. And they are off, guys. We'll look at some of that here in a second. Again, this is from the 19th. It shows that 3.2 lead per Rasmussen. It's actually widened even more to 5 points now. Here's Eric Dougherty. He says, over the past 24 hours, polls have come out showing Trump winning Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Polls have also come out showing Trump winning Wisconsin and Arizona. Trump is getting good polls exactly where he needs it. His easiest 2 victory points. Also, let's just keep rolling through it here, guys. Oh, dude, I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now. I can see. I spend so much time looking at polling details. I spend so much time listening to Americans talk about who they think is going to win. I watched this one video where this person on CBS or one of the major news networks was literally trying to find somebody in a restaurant in Nevada, because it shows Nevada. That shows from the polls, at least a lot of liberal bias polls show that Kamala's winning that by a point. But in this restaurant and the surrounding area, they found one dude who was supporting Kamala Harris. Kind of a big deal. Let's read this, though. Breaking, Oklahoma officials just announced that they have removed 450,000 ineligible names from voter rolls, including 100,000 dead people, 15,000 duplicate registrants that somehow got pushed into the system. We're seeing this across Republican states. Again, there's the potential that the SAVE Act will shut down the government on 10/1. I don't know if our House Speaker is going to make that happen, but we'll see. But it's very positive, guys, very positive. All right, Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen says, predominantly black and Democratic inner-city election managers must break into a cold sweat when they see this. And let's just zoom in here real quick. Trump versus Clinton. Down here, it looks like the black vote near the end. We had 75% of the black vote looking to support Clinton. We had 15% looking to support Trump. Fast forward to 2020. By the end, we have 22%, a 7-point increase. It dropped at the end. You could see where he became very unfavorable the last 2 months because of everything that was happening in the media spin. But if you look up here, Democrats had it 70%. So they lost roughly 5%. And then Republicans gained 5% of the black vote. But this time, we're sitting around 30% towards Donald Trump. That is an almost doubling from 2016 of the number of people that are supporting Donald Trump. Versus on the Democratic side, they've got a big jump. It says that it's up to 65% right now with this huge swing. But man, I don't think that's going to last. And I listen to a lot of black people talking about Trump, and they are very favorable. So this is just amazing stuff that we have going on here. Right here. Jeff Lutz posts the largest county in Illinois, second largest in the entire country, and 40% of Illinois total population is switching to permanent vote by mail. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is what we do in blue states to try and ensure that you can't actually validate whether or not there was fraud in an election. And they might be able to do that in blue states. They're not getting it done in red states. And it looks like maybe even from a Supreme Court level or from a congressional level that they might have a lot of hurdles to try and cheat in this election. Not that I'm saying they did it in the last one. Wink, wink, wink. But yeah, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to try and manipulate the election results this time around. Another one on this 19th, swing states polling by Emerson shows Georgia, Trump winning by 3. Shows Wisconsin, Trump winning by 1. Shows Pennsylvania, Trump winning by 1. Arizona, Trump winning by 1. Michigan, Harris winning by 2. Nevada tied. North Carolina, Harris winning by 1. I'd say this is a pretty accurate representation of the legitimate polls. And in this, we would have a victory of 300 plus electoral votes for Donald Trump. It's all very exciting, guys. I want to go back here real quick, though. Let's talk about Kamala first. Let's talk about Kamala. We're a little bit in here. Probably get censored anyway. Fuck it. All right. So this is great. I love this. I was going to use this on my wife today. What's your plan for cleaning out the garage today, dear? Well, I grew up in a middle-class family. He's got his beer and his chips. Good to go. Doesn't have to do shit. I love it. I love it. Cartoons. Oh, satire. Such a beautiful thing. Kanoka the Great says, VP Kamala Harris's $42 billion broadband initiative failed to connect a single person, home, business to the internet in 3 years. They spent $42 billion. This is what big government gets you. After Biden went after Elon Musk, her administration scrapped a $1,300 location per deal with Starlink. Now they're wasting over $100,000 per location. $1,300, $100,000. Which number is better? Only government can do this. Only incredibly biased, inefficient, fill the pockets of our friends, ignore the companies that are benefiting America, can pull off this level of fucking waste. 80x more money to do this same shit. Harris prioritized DEI. Oh, who could have guessed? Price controls and political agendas over connecting Americans, burning through taxpayer money. If she weren't a Democrat, the media would be blasting her for incompetence and corruption and failure in both her broadband and border czar roles. I hope those commercials are really effective for you during this YouTube video, Kamala Harris. She could connect Americans today and save billions by using Starlink, but she chose politics over people. Why should she be promoted to president after such failures? I don't know. Can you justify it? I can't. Kamala Harris wants a debate. She accepted terms on CNN. Do you think Donald Trump is going on CNN after he got cheated out of the last debate by having them give her the fucking questions and only fact check him? No, he's declined. It ain't happening. Oh, hey, remember Kamala Harris? Wasn't Kamala Harris a prosecuting attorney in California? Let's just zoom in real quick and see how California is doing, guys. Oh, yeah, a bunch of thug kids looting a 7-Eleven store and destroying local businesses so that people don't have a place to shop in. That's exciting. You know what we call this? We call it criminal reform. And all it means when it's used by Kamala Harris is that we just let criminals do whatever they want to. Again, Gavin Newsom, huge help here. Crimes under $1,000 don't matter. These kids, even if they're in their 20s, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a misdemeanor. They can just steal whenever they want to without repercussion. And these businesses will just fail and they'll close because they're being destroyed. Isn't that great? Isn't this the American dream, guys? Don't you want to see a future that looks more like this? You want this in your neighborhoods, don't you? We should really root for it. It's going to be great. All right, see, listen, $100,000, yeah, per site. That's what we're paying instead of 1,300 fucking bucks. Isn't that smart? DEI, internet, slow speeds for all, and equity and latency. Isn't that exciting? We can get it to where it's fair and distributed internet that costs 80 times more than it should. No better way for America to succeed in the world, right? Laura says Kamala Harris downgrades venue for Georgia event today twice due to low attendance. Kamala is having some type of event at the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center in Atlanta, Georgia. I know someone who is doing the setup for the event, and they have told me that Kamala Harris campaign has now downgraded the space for the event twice from the stadium to the auditorium and now the ballroom because Kamala Harris's campaign can't get enough people to attend her event. Maybe they're running out of money to pay them and pay for the bus service. I don't know. The ballroom has a maximum capacity of 650 people. If this is real, this is fucking insane. This is pathetic. All right, Ian Miles. He can be known as being controversial, but, I kind of feel like I am too. This is an incredible victory for free speech. Ireland is getting rid of its plans to introduce hate speech laws. So in case you guys don't know this, the kind of weird shit that's going on in America right now is also being pushed across most of Western civilization, including places like Brazil, where we try and implement laws where we can censor speech, like the UK, like France, going after the Telegram CEO who had to escape Russia because they were going to arrest him for not censoring information, only to go to a lunch date, potentially, with Macron, who is trying to get him arrested on like 10 different counts because he won't censor information that France doesn't want on Telegram. Isn't this wonderful? And so finally, some countries are starting to push back. We're seeing politicians in Australia pushing back. We're seeing that bullshit in Brazil where they were going to find people $8,200 a day getting pushed back. We're seeing Ireland pushing back. There is hope for civilization, but we have to push back. Lives of TikTok says, speaking in Georgia, Kamala had the crowd chant Amber Thurman's name and blamed her death on abortion laws. Amber died because of complications of abortion medication. Let's listen to this.
She was so proud, and she was headed to nursing school. And her name?
Grabian.
And we will speak her.
All right, I don't know why the audio is coming over, but to be clear, this young woman who is going to medical school, who had a life in front of her, if she wouldn't have taken medication for her abortion, she wouldn't have died. And she's trying to praise her as an example and bend the truth again on a story that is sad and that is not true. Let's look at what else is going on in these liberal cities that are so well run, guys. Let's take a look here. A black man armed with a knife was threatening people in the New York subway, and the cops shot him. Now far-left protest or pro-Palestine militants are attacking the police over it and taking over subways. Let's listen here. Let's listen to the wonderfulness that we've created within our schools of study and just all the manipulation that people are having that think that terrorists are good people, that think that we should be railing against the police and defund all of them, that think that communism is good and that we should eat the rich. Oh, by the way, guys, you eat the rich, you eat the 550 plus fucking billionaires in this country, and you know what happens? You fund the government for less than 8 fucking months, and then we all go broke and end up in food lines for the people that don't starve to death. That's what happens when you eat the rich. Educate yourself. Quit being ignorant. Sorry, that's loud as heck. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. Is this the America that you guys dreamed of? Is this it, guys? Is this the America that you dreamed of? Is this what you want your city? Is this the America you want to see, guys, where you can't even get home, where you can't take a subway when you need to because some crazy militant assholes who don't know what the fuck they're talking about are taking it over for the night while giving the finger to police officers just trying to do their fucking jobs? Is this the future that you guys want? If it isn't, maybe you should vote for the right people. Tim Young. So Iran stole information from the Trump campaign, gave it to Biden and Harris, but Biden and Harris don't have to tell the Trump campaign or anyone else what was given to them? How is that not Iranian collusion with the Harris campaign? Think about this if this was Donald Trump in Russia. What do you think the news media would be saying?
Basically what was stolen or not, that's up to the Harris team to disclose to them. So we don't know yet, but as soon as we can get more information on that, I'll of course, let you know.
If this is all true, they should be put into prison afterwards. They should be tried by a jury of their peers, and they should be put into prison for betraying this country.
Wait a minute. So Biden, I just want to make sure I've got the facts right, because they don't sound fair. So the Biden-Harris campaign can decide whether or not the FBI can see what was stolen, and the Biden-Harris campaign can then decide whether or not Donald Trump, a competitor in a presidential election, who the material was regarding and stolen from, can actually see what was taken.
Well, so in some instances, the FBI can just wholesale, demand that information be turned over and actually get it themselves. Other instances, they have to ask.
How is it possible that a foreign adversary that wants the death of the West, that has helped fund these same assholes we just saw on the subway station in New York City and promoted that kind of bullshit, how is it possible that they can just deny in an election year, with the election 6 weeks from now, deny giving information about what was taken from them? This is definitely collusion. It's treason.
Owners of the information to provide it to them. We don't know exactly which
Can we
instance
ask on their
this
behalf?
is. We absolutely can.
Yeah,
that's a great
FOIA
question.
that. I mean, yeah.
Basically, what was stolen.
Insanity. We're going to get to the good stuff here in a little bit, guys, but I want you to hear more, okay? Ohio resident, we have city officials that live right in Springfield and don't set up meetings like this. We got a couple of these we want to go over, but we'll make this quick here, real quick. I want you to hear Vivek. I want you to hear a true American patriot, somebody who's a good person who cares about this country, talking in Springfield. And there's one video in here that'll just make you sad and almost want to cry. But let's listen.
I have one question. My name is Chrissy. You came here from your hometown. We have city officials that live right here in Springfield and have not set up a meeting like this for Springfield. You said your tickets were free, right?
Yes, they are. We're not making money tonight.
Okay, listen to me. But why can't the city officials, I'm serious, why can't the city officials do this? Go to the north, south, east, and west of Springfield, maybe get people that want to come, and find out what they're really living circumstances. And here's why. We're paying for those, right? I've been in Springfield for 66 years. I know a lot about Springfield, okay? So my take is, if you don't talk to people, even Haitians, I have Haitian friends too. I know all of them are over here illegal too. But what I'm saying...
Oh, sorry. My bad. Let me go back. Let me fix this real quick.
This is a community. If you want to be open about things, talk to the people. Don't just make it seem like President Trump did, like everyone's lying. They don't really know, if they're not living on that side of town, what really goes on. So how will you know about a city if you're not bringing the people together, right, and talking to them? It's called Communication 101.
What's your name?
My name is Chrissy.
Chrissy, I appreciate you being here. So, I'll tell you what I think is actually going on, okay? The first thing I'm going to say may not be very popular in this room, but I'll tell you the truth, okay? This is what I truly believe, so I'm going to share it anyway. Actually, before I came here, I was in City Hall. I met with a number of the city officials. I invited them to be here tonight, actually. I thought it would be productive, because I don't have the power other than through philanthropy or through public advocacy to change something here. And we'll try to use the power of, my platform voice to cause positive change here. But I invited them to be here because they're in a position to run the city. And I'll tell you what I believe. I know many of you may feel like your leadership doesn't care. I met with them. I don't think that's true. I think I sat there for an hour with them after we met with the Haitian group. I think they actually really do care, at least the subset I met with. And I know that's not a popular view maybe in this room. But I will tell you what I do see happening in the country. I think there's a culture of fear, actually. I think the reason they're not here tonight is not because they don't care about this. It's because they're scared, actually. And I think that culture of fear has spread like an epidemic across our country.
Yep.
Where actually what you really need is just transparency. You report to the people. You know, if you work in a company, how many of you anybody in here who work in a company, okay? Your CEO is the boss of your company. But people mix this up. When you're in government and you're a city official or you're a mayor or whatever, your boss is actually the people who are in this room today. And it's not just the people in the city who mess that up. That's the federal government as well. And so what I hope to do today is to show that actually talking to the people of Springfield isn't that scary. The way the town council meeting, somebody came up, will be demonized for speaking about their own experience. We're live streaming this for the world to see that actually these are just good, patriotic Americans who love their country and love their city, who are struggling because the people who they elected to run their federal government all the way down have let them down. And you don't have to be scared of actually being face-to-face with your fellow citizens. So I did my best. I can't control what they do, but I did do my best to highlight this today.
That's a great job. He is such a diplomat, guys. He is so great. Also, on the other side of the fence, real quickly, and we're going to get to some good stuff, so stick around. This is 16 years of Gavin Newsom saying he's going to solve homelessness. Isn't that exciting?
What we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
How are you going to solve homelessness?
I should probably mute this real quick because I don't want to get demonetized. What are you going to do as mayor? 2010. 2012. We're going to get rid of homeless. 2015, 16, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24. See, here's the thing that people don't realize is the homeless population it's an industrial complex. It's how they make money in the state and how they launder money between their friends. He has no incentive to get rid of homelessness. It's a business. And if you don't believe that, I can send you to a bunch of videos that will make it very clear. All right, so I said to this person, I said, you're ignoring the obvious. Kamala Harris rolled back. This is talking about illegal immigration. This bullshit line about, oh, dude, Kamala just a month ago tried to get it to where we would get rid of the illegal immigration. But it's Trump. He wants illegal immigration. So I responded back to them. Kamala Harris rolled back all of Trump's policies on the border, and even the head of the Border Patrol said that they opened up the border and they were given gag orders to shut them up. The Biden-Harris administration also flew in over 850,000 legal immigrants into swing states to help ensure that in the future they'll force these states to be blue and make it virtually impossible for Team Red to win. Democrats have also changed their stance since Obama for the same reason. In the end, they created this problem, and then 6 months before the election, they push a bill to try and make it look like they're the heroes and blame the issue on Donald Trump. This is not an intellectually honest argument. We can go much further down the rabbit hole if you want to talk about the specifics. And guess what, guys? They didn't. They didn't want to talk about the specifics. That was enough to where they're like, I don't want to talk to this guy. Byron. Kamala lied about President Trump's bloodbath comment on purpose. Let's just listen to this. Byron's a really cool dude. 1 second. It's a minute. It's very good.
Kamala Harris in a debate last week, she lied about Donald Trump's bloodbath comments. Why did she say that? Because she wants to invoke a negative energy around the campaign of Donald Trump, frankly, to affect these undecided voters that we talked about at the top. What does she want to talk about?
I mean, Congressman, you and I have gone back and forth a lot about like fact checking that can happen.
Kate, can you acknowledge that Kamala Harris lied about the Charlottesville comments again? Something that even Snopes has debunked and said is fake news, that it is wrong, that his statements were taken out of context. Those are the direct lies coming from Kamala Harris. So if you're going to talk about the invective put into this campaign that Kamala Harris and her campaign has done, trying to invoke a negative response from voters in our country versus Donald Trump talking about issues, whether
by blatantly lying and trying to make it look like he's a racist when he's not. And don't get me, I do agree that both sides do these stupid 10 and 20 second fucking clips so that things can be taken out of context. But when you take things that are 5, 6 years old and you try and spin them like they're the truth, and the media doesn't fact check you when it has to deal with whether or not the president or the potential president is a fucking racist, and you don't get fact checked on that, like, what kind of bullshit is that? What is that? Imagine if the roles were reversed, what that would look like. This says, imagine my shock. We'll have a little humor here. And then I've got more polling data to give you guys, so stick around. We're going to finish this up. This is the shitting on Kamala Harris section, where you get advertisements from YouTube that try to tell you to vote for Kamala Harris, why I tell you she's a piece of shit. So this is a fun part of it. But after this, we're going to go back to the election details again, more polling-related information, and then we're going to talk about Trump, the better of the two candidates, in my unbiased opinion. Michigan, a sense of betrayal, liberal dismay as Muslim-led U.S. city bans pride flag. Oh my God, I love this shit so much. I mean, don't get me wrong. Two of my best friends are gay men that are married to each other. But this kind of thing is just, it's a symphony of beauty, because these assholes that are all woke left and like the Free Palestine crowd are literally being like, these are the guys we need to support. And then you have like gays for Palestine and stuff. This is what they think of you. Are you fucking retarded? How stupid do you have to be to support a cause that is already banning your flags? I mean, seriously. It's hilarious. You burn the American flag, they ban yours. Fucking poetic. I'm sorry. I think it's wonderful. All right, let's listen here real quick. Springfield Council city member was caught on hot mic saying literally, I really don't give a shit about the business of the city. I actually already played this one. We'll skip, move on. I want to go over here. We're going to look at more polling related data, and then we're going to talk about Trump. And again, I'm becoming super biased, but it's only because I love my country and I want it to exist in the future and not be a shell of what it was. So anyway, so that's my bias, guys. All right. In September of 2020, Biden was up by 3.9 points nationally. Right now, it says Harris is up by 0.7. This is in Pennsylvania. So this is actually a really, really close race. And the interesting thing is some of these polls, like Quinnipiac is bullshit, garbage, trash polling. New York Times isn't much better. So these are pushing the bias very much to one side. I don't know enough about USA Today. I'll look and try and see how far off they are in their polling. But if you subtract, let's say those two that we know are trash, Quinnipiac, so get this, guys. Quinnipiac, since the debate, says that Kamala Harris has gained 20 points. So if you believe that bullshit, that's what this level of polling is. They say they're up by 5. New York Times says up by 4. You subtract those out, you know who's winning Pennsylvania? It's Donald Trump. And there's other polls that don't even get included in here that we mentioned a minute ago that also show Trump winning this state. So once we get better polling, maybe some Rasmussen state polling, we should see Trump winning Pennsylvania. I think very strongly that that's what's going to happen. I do want to go back, though. I want to move, actually, before we go into Wisconsin, I want to go back up here to just the broader popular poll. So again, with a bunch of BS polls, we got Harris winning by 1.9. But Rasmussen and down here, Atlas Intel are the two most accurate pollsters on this list in regard to the last presidential election. And in the popular vote, Atlas Intel, the most accurate poller, has Trump winning by 3 points. And Rasmussen, the second most accurate poller, has Trump winning by 2 points. So if you take out the bullshit, like Morning Consult, when you see Morning Consult, think Michael Bloomberg paid for this, and he's a Democrat who hates Republicans. That's that pollster, okay? They're usually about 6 or 7 points off. So even in there, at least. So if you subtract, and again, Data for Progress is a liberal organization taking polls. So like blatantly liberal. Ipsos isn't much better. A lot of this is trash, and they have 6 4-point leads for Harris on here. You subtract that stuff out, and this is neck and neck. You get some other good pollers in here too that Real Clear Politics doesn't do right now, and Trump is probably a hair ahead in the popular vote. So very important stuff. Let's real quickly jump over to Arizona. Then we're going to get to Trump news, guys. There's so much news. So much news. All right, so Trump, Harris, in Arizona. Look at this. Look at these. These aren't so Trafalgar, all the or Trafalgar, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to fucking say it. I don't care. To the person who wants to correct me in every one of my videos, I do not give a shit how to say this ever. I don't fucking care. I don't care if I ever get it right. Okay? So let's just leave it at that, bro. All right? I don't want to have to block you. Stay the fuck out of my comments. But if we look here at Arizona, Trump probably has this state, and that's awesome. That's exactly what we want to see. Biden had this by 5 points, guys. He had this by 5 points at the same time in 2020, and Trump is up by 1.6 right now. That's almost a 7-point flip. Wrap your head around that, okay? Trump in 2016, when he won against Hillary Clinton, he was up by 1.6, the exact same number that we're at right now, okay? And she was one of the least popular candidates in history, recent history for sure. So remember this, okay? This is truth. This is signal. Trump 2024. And I'll try and get caught up on chat here in a second. Guys, keep talking amongst yourself, though. It does boost. If you guys can like, I want to get the message out. I want to get truth out to people. I want them to know what's really happening in this world. People don't need to be depressed thinking that Trump is just getting his ass handed to him right now. That's not what's happening. They need to get excited. They need to start hanging up flags. They need to start hanging up vote for Trump signs. They need to be okay with some people not being happy with that. But this is happening, guys. We need to get excited about what's happening. We need to get out there and do something about it. We need to support each other. But 2024, Wisconsin poll, Trump versus Harris. Harris winning by 1. And again, Quinnipiac is in here, that bullshit pollster. They have 1 point lead. The way they lie, I think that probably means Trump's winning. So, but it doesn't matter. Trump could totally lose Wisconsin. It doesn't matter. He could lose Michigan. It doesn't matter. If he wins Pennsylvania, the chance of him winning the election is over like 93%. So that's one that really matters. But even in here, again, Quinnipiac has Harris up by 5. I doubt it. Biden was up by 6.4. She's still doing worse than that. Clinton was up by 5.2. She lost the election. Harris is only up by 1.7 points in this state. And then there's obvious bullshit polls in here too from Quinnipiac. So with that kind of setup, this is better than it's ever been. Ever been. All right, real quickly here. Let me look at chat here too. I need to stay abreast of chat. I'm telling you guys to talk, and then I'm not fucking talking to you. What is that? Manny247. Kamala snickering makes me cry. Tucker Carlson giggling makes me smile. I used to be the exact opposite, but I'm totally there now. When I was buying that flag from the Trump people on the side of the road, I gave them 50. They're like the flag's $20. I gave them $50. They were just like, we were chatting for a while, and I told them, I'm like, well, I voted for Biden and this and this and this, and they're like, well, we don't care. We're just happy to have you here, man. And that was before I bought from them, and I pull up in a cyber truck, so they probably didn't even know what to think right away. But it's awesome that people are so inviting, and I think we need to encourage that kind of behavior. All kinds of people, invite them into this. Let them know that we're a team and that we are the unity team and that we're working together to make the world a better place. And we're going to start with this country first. But Michigan, again, 1.7 lead. Bullshit from Quinnipiac. Marist is junk too. Marist, whatever the fuck it's called. Trafalgar, bleh. That had a tie. Insider Advantage had a 1. This is close. This is a close state. It blows my mind that this state is even remotely close. Biden had a 6.4 lead on this one. Clinton had a 5.2. Harris has a 1.7. She is by far the worst out of this list. Let's keep rolling. The adventure of Bryn and Bana. That's cool. Just what I needed to hear. Thanks, Jesse. Sealess, I did my own number crunching circa 2022 and realized seizing billionaires' wealth would yield very little funding. It would also decimate the stock market for the retirement of half of Americans. It would end right now with our 130% debt to GDP. It would end America. We would no longer be the world reserve currency, and we would probably be at war with China. That's just what would happen. So, yeah, we can't do that. It's asinine. It's stupid. Jax, 100, 100, 100. Thank you, my friend. Sealess, Charlottesville was a relatively small, unsavory gathering for a country of 330 million people. Tragic events, but people chose to have a standoff. And another thing that we'll be talking about in a little bit, January 6th. Every Democrat likes to talk about that. You know what actually happened on January 6th, guys? We finally got confirmation that Trump asked that the guard be there and they have an adequate supply for it because he was worried about what might happen. And guess what? Nancy Pelosi is the one that turned that shit down. We know that from recordings from her daughter's own phone. So this was not his fucking fault. Get over it. I used to think that too. It wasn't. Move on. Jax, you're pronouncing her name wrong. It's Camel. Kamala. That's a better name. I like it. Pete, are you more bullish on Tesla to $300 by years? If Trump wins, yes. That's just a no-brainer. You know Elon's going to get persecuted. It will slow him down. It won't stop him by any means. They can't stop him. They know it. But, or I hope they know it. But yeah, it'll definitely, a Trump presidency would be huge. Imagine all the contracts that would be flipped upside down just because Elon's companies do win. They are the best. All the government contracts would all start going to them. It's no question whatsoever. It would be a better experience. It would be way better. So if you just want your stock to go up and you don't even give a fuck about freedom, if you want to make money, vote Donald Trump. Pete, are you more... wait, that was you. Jax, the House just unanimously passed bipartisan legislation 405-0 to require the USSS to use the same standards when assigning agents to major presidential... Yeah, so the Secret Service is actually going to be giving adequate protection, hopefully, to Trump. I still think they're going to try and poison him. But yeah, at least it's going to be better going forward. They should have had that for Robert F. Kennedy, too. How disgusting is it? How disgusting is it that you have a presidential candidate who had both his uncle and father assassinated when running for government and trying to help lead this country in a good direction? Assassinated, possibly by the CIA or parts of the government because of the stances that they took. And then you don't give that guy fucking protection? Are you serious? It's disgusting. Sealess, I'd say both are likely. TFB, the Oprah event was such a joke. Why are people eating that garbage? I don't think a lot of people are. Alfredo Hernandez, do you see AMD as far as second to NVIDIA? I'm not really talking more stock right now. We could do that in any other, Monday through Friday, guys. I do a video in the morning while the market's opening and economic data is coming out, explaining my thoughts on all of it and what I think is going to happen for the day. Then at the end of the day, I do a market recap, letting you know how accurate I was and letting you know what we can expect in the next day. And then I just do that 5 days a week on top of all the other stuff that I do. So at any point in time during those, ask about stock related stuff. But if I'm really talking about a completely different topic, I would appreciate it if you don't ask in here. Pete, yep, the Oprah Harris informational was incoherent garbage. It was really bad. We'll talk briefly about it. But Pennsylvania, if you take out, again, the bullshit Quinnipiac, New York Times, USA, just even those two, you probably have Trump winning in Pennsylvania. And to be clear, a 0.7 Harris lead, Biden was 3.9, Clinton was 6.6. This is one of the worst performances we've seen in Pennsylvania. North Carolina, and then we'll get to Trump. This is the good stuff. This is what matters. I don't think the guy's a saint. He's not Jesus Christ reincarnated. People get a little too excited, but I do think he's a decent human being, and I used to think he was evil. He's not. I think he's a decent human being. If you go back 40 years, he's always said these same things about America. He didn't make up these policies. He lost money being the president, whereas other people made it. Okay? You need to take some time to actually understand who this man is. And if nothing else, ignore who these people are and just compare their policies. There's a clear fucking difference. If you hate Donald Trump, just forget about him and think about which one of the policy groupings will benefit you, okay? You don't have to like him. North Carolina, Trump by 0.1. I think this is great. Let's just look. Oh, we don't have the comparison. Sorry, guys. Trump versus Biden polls. I don't know if that's for North Carolina. Let me click on it. Oh, it is. Good. Okay. So what do we have here? Biden was up by 0.8. Trump was up by 1.2. So that's what it says for that one. So historically. So they had the historic, but it was under a different place. So whatever. Either way, though, I mean, again, this looks like this looks like Trump is in a great position in North Carolina too. All of the states, guys, and they're just getting better. There's a bunch of polls that don't even get counted in these that would help the accuracy substantially. Georgia, Trump was up by 1.3 and he lost, quote unquote. In 2016, he was up by 4. Right now, it says he's up by 1.7. Don't have, again, Quinnipiac of all things, has Trump up by 3 in this state. So I'd say there's a really good chance that we're winning in Atlanta. Plus, there's been a lot of good laws that have been passed, both in Pennsylvania and Atlanta. They're starting to do things to try and help with election integrity. And if we get the SAVE Act, it's just going to be even better. But that's it. That's it for the polling related stuff. There's more I could show you, but I'll probably save it for the next one. I do, though, want to jump back over because we got to go back talking about Trump again. It's very important that we do so. There's a lot of good stuff in here. So this says, just to be clear, Trump is getting the endorsements of the firefighters, the police officers, the auto workers, the Teamsters that always go with the Democrats. But the biggest endorsement comes on November 5th from the American people. Meanwhile, Kamala is being endorsed by Hollywood elites. This choice is easy. And if we look here, and I agree with that. No, I can't do that. Can't have music. But you can see Trump here. It says, this is a real crowd, not here for twerking, but here to see one man to save our country. I think that says a lot, right? You don't have to have somebody twerking on stage. I think that's pretty impressive. This says, watch Trump just brought his granddaughter, Carolina, on stage with him in North Carolina. I could totally see Trump doing something like that. And she said, make America great again. That is so fucking cute. I hope they're not playing music. I want to hear it.
Go ahead, you shout it.
Make America great again.
Oh. That was great, honey. Wow.
He is, yeah, I think Trump's becoming a better person than he used to be. Or my view has just really changed. All right, let's listen to JD Vance. He has a lot to say in this video, and it's only 2 minutes.
You know how this works, but I'll sort of give some insight into into this for your viewers and your listeners. Okay, so I have said publicly, I've been attacked by this from the left. I've said, look, Kamala's own internal polls are not very good right now. And of course, the lefties say, well, JD Vance is the VP candidate for Republicans. Nobody in Kamala Harris's campaign is talking to him. And that's right, by the way. Kamala Harris's campaign is not talking to me. But they are talking to journalists. Yeah. And then those journalists want insights into what's going on with the Republican ticket. They want to see our internal numbers. Yeah. And look, the journalists are telling me that Kamala Harris doesn't like her numbers. The journalists are telling me our campaign does like their numbers. There's a consistency of story here.
Journalists act as kind of like it's an information.
They're like the intelligence operatives, right? Like
totally true. In fact, some of them are working for intelligence operatives.
Right. Yeah, journalists are to electoral politics what like the CIA is to international relations.
True. People think, just like in polling, they think, oh, polls are designed to measure what people think. Journalists are designed to report what happened. No. Journalists are players in the political system.
Yes.
And they do not disclose that to their readers, and you see it up close. But it's interesting. They play the role of kind of like covert diplomats between the
Yes,
campaigns.
yes, they do. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, in 2016, what the journalists were telling you was Hillary Clinton's campaign is confident, but then some of them, like Bill Clinton, were very not confident. Yeah. And in 2020, they were saying nobody really knows what's going on. And in 2024, they're saying Kamala Harris is feeling a little bit rough about her chances. Yes. The Trump people are feeling good about their chances. Mm-hmm. Look, I think we're in a good spot, but you can't take this stuff for granted.
He's 100% right. We can't take it for granted. I'm excited because I think we're winning, and I think we can win. Even if they try and cheat, I think we can win. Because people are working very hard to try and make things better for this election than they were last time. And we have, for the first time ever, guys, X, a growing platform, the top 140 in 140 countries, X is the #1 news application for pay for free. It doesn't matter. It's the top news application, and we have that on our side, and we have community notes, and we still have freedom. So even if they tried to do something, we're going to be able to fact check it and get the information out there in a way that we could never do before. Because with that 9-to-1 bias, you could just never break out of the machine. And we can do that this time because our voice is more powerful and the news comes from us.
Right. And by the way, I think it goes in both ways, right? If you take too rosy of a picture, you can get demotivated. If you take too pessimistic of a picture, you can get demotivated. Excuse me, we still have to do our job. We have to go out there, persuade voters. We have to go out there and knock on doors. If you're watching this and you want to get involved in the campaign, like, go and do it. Go to donaldjtrump.com, volunteer, become a door knocker, because we actually can win this race. I think we will win this race, but not if we sit on our asses and don't get out there and work for it.
Hell yeah. David Y on X says, Jesse, you crack me up. You say things I'm thinking. I'm so glad you're on this train. Why can't everybody say what they're fucking thinking? You know what I mean? Why can't we just live in a world where that's okay? And you might get in arguments with other people, but nobody tries to murder each other. Why can't we just live in a world like that? We should. Speech should be free. We should be able to say the things that are on our mind.
The leader, I forget exactly which official it was within the European Union, but sent Elon this threatening letter that basically said, we're going to arrest you if you platform Donald Trump, who, by the way, is the likely next president of the United States. So what America should be saying is, oh, if NATO wants us to continue supporting them, and NATO wants us to continue to be a good participant in this military alliance, why don't you respect American values and respect free speech? Excuse me, it's insane that we would support a military alliance if that military alliance isn't going to be pro-free speech. I think we can do both, but we've got to say American power comes with certain strings attached. One of those is respect free speech, especially in our European allies.
Yeah, that does. In a European ally, that has to be the way it is, or fuck off. Pay your own fucking bills. Get your own security. Russia, invade these guys.
Like, look, I'm not going to go to some backwoods country and tell them how to live their lives, but European countries should theoretically share American values, especially about some very basic things like free speech. The leader...
Yes, that's right. That's the way it is. All right, real quickly, I'll get it caught up with chat. TFB, when is your Reminder video coming out? Probably tomorrow, 6 o'clock. I'm trying to get the Discord up. I need to make a video about that too. But I'll probably do that. I don't know if it'll be much better. I haven't gotten a response from Alejandro on how far we've gotten with updating things and visual stocks. So we'll see. But maybe next week's is better. I'll do my best, though, to make this one clear and concise. We'll probably talk about crypto, too. Sealess, the current world has room for multiple chips companies to thrive with overlapping products. All right, don't care about that. Pete, I have friends from Philly to Bucks County to rural area of Poconos. Poconos? Yeah, okay, we'll just say that. They're all voting Trump. PA will go red in November. Dude, I would love to hear that. I could definitely see maybe Pittsburgh leaning that way. It's the Philly area that I really worry about. So hearing you say that makes me excited, dude. So I really hope that works out, Pete. I really do. I love that your governor has even said the same thing. Or I don't know if you're there, but the governor said the same thing. And he's a Democrat. Sealess, maybe Trump should only eat MREs for the next 6 weeks. Dude, I'm not even joking when I say that. I just worry about him getting poisoned. It's the next step. The more they're going to lose, I fear that they're afraid of losing control because there's been a lot of things that have been done during this presidency that really probably aren't legal. So they're afraid. And literally Trump said he's going after people that manipulated the news and manipulated the last election and that have been doing bad things. They're in trouble. And so he's going after intelligence agencies. They want him gone, man. Let's just be real. Let's be real about it. That's the truth. Charlie Kirk posted this. It says JD Vance on the Haitians in Springfield. Let's listen to this real quick. And we've got a bunch of Trump stuff, but it's going to be worth the next few minutes, guys. Thank you for the people who stick around.
Hi, Senator. Mia McCarthy with Politico. Question for you about the Haitian migrants in Springfield. So I know you've talked a lot about how we need to deport illegal aliens, but I wanted to ask you, the majority of the Haitians in Springfield came under TPS, so they are here legally. And I know you've expressed a lot of your issues with the TPS program and wanting to change that under a Trump-Vance administration. But I guess my question for you is, if you become the vice president under a Trump administration, what will you guys do about the migrants that are already there, since they did arrive legally? And a follow-up to that, if you plan to deport them, how would you do that legally?
Well, look, this is a media and Kamala Harris fact check that I want to clarify and clear up right now. And here's
I love JD Vance. He's a great pick.
Now, the media loves to say that the Haitian migrants, hundreds of thousands of them, by the way, 20,000 in Springfield, but hundreds of thousands of them all across our country, they are here legally. And what they mean is that Kamala Harris used two separate programs, mass parole and temporary protective status. She used two programs to wave a wand and to say, we're not going to deport those people here. Well, if Kamala Harris waves the wand illegally and says these people are now here legally, I'm still going to call them an illegal alien. An illegal action from Kamala Harris does not make an alien legal. That is not how this works.
I 100% agree with that. And again, there's probably many. Haiti is a shitty place, guys. Like there's probably really good people on that list. And again, if you know me, you know that I actually think there's probably a number of people that we should end up keeping here. We need to get rid of the really bad people. We need to figure out, if we're pushing hard to push U.S. manufacturing back to the United States, should we keep some of these people here? And how can we help them integrate with society and maybe distribute out better? So some people seem to think I'm a racist. I'm not, because I don't like radical Islam. First off, Islam, a fucking religion. It's not a race. And secondly, because I believe that moving 30% of a population that's completely different, does not speak English, does not know really anything about America that they might have saw on a little screen one time, if they have a TV at all. Haiti is a shitty place. So you don't put them all in one fucking place. You distribute them throughout the country if you're going to be able to give these people asylum. And some of these people are willing to work 14 to 16-hour days. There are jobs that people just don't want to do, okay? People that have been citizens with this country their whole lives, they don't want to work 16-hour days. If there are people that do, we should let them here, as long as it benefits our country and we can help them at the same time. It has to be, we need to have legal immigration that makes sense. And that stuff has to be a priority for us, but we got to close our borders if we're going to be able to do that. But we can have the best of both worlds, help our economy, get people to do hard work and be more productive that Americans just don't want to do physically anymore, okay? There's legitimate points to this, but you can't put them all in one fucking small town. That's not how it works. And then you don't pay for everything. These people have Medicaid, Medicare. They've got tens of thousands of dollars on a card where they can get whatever they want. Some of these people are driving around in $100,000 Lexus SUVs. Even if it's fucking used, it's like 70. How is that happening? How is this sustainable? They want to bring another 1.2 million in legally. This is fucking stupid. We could do better. All right, real quickly here. From Travis, says, shocking. Former Capitol Police leader Stephen Sund talks about how he repeatedly put in calls for backup from the National Guard on January 6th, but he was denied because 2 days earlier the Pentagon blocked assistance to the Capitol. This, coupled with the information we have of today, General Milley admitting he was told to provide troops, should be enough to bring everyone in for questioning. And to provide troops, he was told by Donald Trump to bring in fucking troops, okay? And he didn't do it. And then they blame all of this on Trump like it was his fucking fault, okay? It wasn't. All right. I don't even know what that is. Oh, this is under that post. Let's move on. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. This real quickly. This is amazing. This is Jamie Dimon, a liberal Democrat. he has some thoughts that he wants to throw out there. Let's just listen.
How do you see the U.S. economy playing itself out over the next 12 months? This is an election year. We've been talking a lot about what just took place in Iowa and trying to understand how the American public is going to feel about the economy may ultimately dictate how the president is decided.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it's a mistake to assume that everything's hunky-dory. And, you know, and when stock markets are up, it's kind of like this little drug we all feel. Like, it's just great, you know. But remember, we've had so much fiscal and monetary stimulation. So I'm a little more on the cautious side, that we are facing a lot of things in 24 or 25. And we mentioned Ukraine, the terrorist activity in Israel, the Red Sea, quantitative tightening, which I still question if we understand exactly how that works. I don't think we do. How QE actually worked, what the effect of negative, you know, zero rates was for all this time. And obviously the politics, and you know, and then the Ukrainian war is affecting oil, gas, food, migration. So you have all these very powerful forces that are going to be affecting us in 24 and 25. So if I was the government, I would be preparing for what I'm going to do about that, assuming things aren't good. And I just also want to point out, I wish the Democrats would think a little more carefully when they talk about MAGA. You know, and if you travel this country, you know, and the country's unbelievable. We took our bus trip this year, and Leslie Picker was on Spokane and Boise and Bozeman. People are growing. They're hungry to grow. They're innovating. It's everywhere. It's not just Silicon Valley. So we've got this great hand. But when people say MAGA, they're actually looking at people voting for Trump, and they think they're voting, and they're basically scapegoating them, that you are like him. But I don't think they're voting for Trump because of his family values. And if you look, just take a step back, be honest. He was kind of right about NATO, kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked. Yeah. He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand. He may have been right. And I don't like how he said things about Mexico. I don't like, but he wasn't wrong about some of these.
This is a liberal Democrat at the biggest bank in America telling you that Trump was right about the economy. Send this fucking link to your friends, okay?
Critical issues. And that's why they're voting for him.
I'm going to do something. I got to do something real quick here.
A little more respectful of our fellow citizens.
Let me just jump back.
The Democrats have done a pretty good job with the deplorables, hugging onto their Bibles and their beer and their guns. I mean, really, like, could we just stop that stuff and actually grow up and treat other people with respect and listen to them a little bit? And I do think the economy will affect. And I think this negative talk about MAGA is going to hurt Biden's election campaign.
Now again, this is at Davos, and it was fucking cold or something. But the whole point is, this is what he thinks. This liberal thinks that they're screwing this up right now. Sorry, they're screwing this up right now, and he's saying positive things about Trump, that he was literally the best for the economy out of what we've seen, and it's very true. And again, we just got to pass this message on, guys. People need to know the truth. I said he's right. Most of the polls are bullshit. If you want to see how real Donald Trump is doing, watch this. Oh, when I played my previous video, it just says JD Vance just said the polls. Oh yeah, you got to hear this from his words. He's so brilliant. It's really good that Trump hired him on.
The same people who put those public opinion polls together are the same people who say, for example, that Donald Trump was going to lose Wisconsin by 17 points. Remember that? 3 days before the 2020 election, Donald Trump was supposed to lose Wisconsin by 17 points. And set to the side all of the debates about what happened in 2020, Wisconsin was basically a tied election.
That he was supposed to lose it by 17 points in the polls, guys. And in the end, it was flat. Isn't that crazy? He didn't win it, but isn't that crazy?
So these guys use public polls, they use the media, not even just to
and they're doing that more than they ever have.
Manipulate public opinion, but to manipulate our leadership about what public opinion actually says.
So how does that happen? So those polls are fake, is what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely, they're fake. They're absolutely fake. And we see this, I mean, again,
he's right.
You know,
he's right.
This is like very nerdy, but let's like
just numerically, you could see how they're fake. You could see how they're fake based upon history. That's the great thing about community notes. You have a history of things. Having that same kind of thing here on sites like Real Clear Polling, where we can see historically what their accuracy is very important, because it lets us know that they're fake.
Go down this polling rabbit hole. Okay, so I you know, a friend of mine I think is the best pollster in America. Every race I've ever seen him poll, he's way better than anybody else. Okay, so good pollster versus a standard media pollster. Fabrizio, Tony Fabrizio, great guy. He's the president's pollster. Okay, take a standard media poll and ask yourself, like, what are they doing? those polls are all conducted by what's called online panels. In other words, they have a group of people that they go to again and again and again. They ask their opinion. Well, who are the people who are going to respond aggressively to online panels about what they feel?
The extremes of both ends.
About every issue of the day. A bunch of highly engaged, typically far left, typically people with professional degrees, people who are not representative of the American people at large, right? Meanwhile,
that's an interesting point.
Most Americans are trying to pay their mortgage and trying to take care of their kids and trying to do all the things that are necessary to live a life in this country. And they're not answering the phone when a pollster picks up.
These are really good points. I've never thought about it this way.
If you actually look at the good pollsters, they're telling you a radically different story because they're talking to a representative sample of the United States. And the fake media pollsters are talking to a very narrow slice of the United States. And again, they're trying to sell us a story. And it's not just, this is not primarily to manipulate the American people, I think. I think it's to manipulate us, meaning elected officials. Because I've sat in...
If Trump gets shot, this is the guy that goes into power. This is the guy I want in the driver's seat if something bad ever happens to him. This is the guy.
Lunches with a number of my colleagues who will say, look at this poll and look how Americans are responding to this or that issue. And then you realize that that exact same poll was wildly inaccurate 2 years ago. Why are you making your judgments about what the American people believe based on some poll? And oh, by the way, why don't you express some leadership? Why don't you just actually have a view and go to the American people and try to persuade them that your view is wise and then enact legislation in accordance with that wisdom, right? Like that's how real leadership should work.
What's so deceptive, and I think what people don't realize is that a lot of these polls are designed not to measure opinion, but to shape it.
Yes.
So they are tools of influence.
100%. President Trump said this recently in an interview where he said that the purpose of some of these polls that say, okay, you're down 17 points in Wisconsin. So say you're a Republican voter, you want to support Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. And of course, the polls now are much better for us than they were back in 2020. But let's say you want to support President Trump and you read a story that says he's down by 17 points in Wisconsin. Why even show up, right? So there's a voter suppression dynamic here where you try to get people to get depressed and to drop out of the democratic process. Don't even go and vote if the president is down by so much. The purpose of these polls is actually manipulation of both the public themselves, but also, of course, elected officials. And I think that we have to have the courage to trust our own convictions, to say, screw you, I don't buy the polls, and to do what you think is right on behalf of the country.
That was great. I don't know if you guys saw what I just posted, but JD Vance debate against VP Tim Walz is going to be insane. It's going to be insane. People think that nobody cares about the VP, but they do this time. And JD Vance will wipe the floor and make the points that Trump's been trying to make way better than he ever would. And it will sway independents towards Trump. And you will see a huge lead open up across the country when that debate happens. Mark my fucking words. Travis said, today we found out that Trump did request the National Guard before January 6th and that those requests were canceled last minute because of optics. Here's Nancy Pelosi, who was aware of this, claiming Trump is a liar and never requested the National Guard.
Let me just say, what is so offensive,
keep in mind, she knew the real truth,
to me, is that there's some really good Republicans out there who put up with his saying he never offered any National Guard. Even Mitch McConnell joined us in our bipartisan urgent, please send them. Please send the National Guard. And his Secretary of the Army, Secretary of Defense.
Think about how manipulated we'd been. If you were listening to this stuff and you were listening to it like I was, and you loved Joe Biden and thought he was going to save America because he was a centrist, listen to this. She knew the truth.
Oh, it takes a lot of time, and he never did until finally he did hours later. More people injured, some people then subsequent to that dying because he wouldn't send the National Guard. So for him to go on TV and lie about it, I mean, he lies all the time. That's the only... I don't know if we know.
Isn't this disgusting? VP debate is October 1st. Yeah, I think you're right.
Is what the truth is. He's so foreign from it.
Which is literally like, what, 10 days from now? Something like that? 9, 10
In his
days?
statements. But for him to lie about sending the national, I sent it, they refused it. Please, press. Please, press. Don't let.
Yeah, Seeless is a pretty smart dude. You're right. The poll manipulation and what is what political scientists call the bandwagon effect. Yep. You can manipulate people and make them think the same thing and get them to hop on the bandwagon. That's what you do. You can literally use polls to influence people's opinions. And it probably worked for a long time. But guess what, guys? We have fucking X. If you love X, hit the like button. Type something.
Let him get away with that. That's so ridiculous. And he knows that we do not have control of the security. That's dealt in a different way.
Yeah.
And the power of the White
And this dumb bitch later on was in a recording literally saying that she wished that she should have had the guard there and they should have had the help there, but like she wished she would have done the right thing with it. And that's paraphrasing, so it's a rough quote. Watch it yourself. Yeah, let's see here. I actually really like this idea. Oh yeah, so many different policy ideas, guys. Trump was talking about announcing that he would cap credit card interest rate at 10%. I think that's brilliant, and I'll tell you why in a second. And we're really close to the bottom here, guys. Just another probably 5-10 minutes and we'll be done. Throw out any questions you might have.
And while working Americans catch up, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates. We're going to cap it at around 10%. We can't let them make 25 and 30%.
I love this idea. I think 10% is a perfect number. Some people argue that, oh, that'll take credit cards away from the poor. And I say, great. I used to be a bill collector, and credit cards are evil. They totally fuck the poor. They're a little better now, some of them, because they've had to be competitive. But you miss a payment, and they might just go after you. And if you're close to the limit, you're already over the limit. You get a fee for late payment. You get a fee for an over the limit. Before you know it, you're drowning in credit card debt. That could take you forever to fucking pay at 30+% interest. It should be 10%. People shouldn't be forever indebted, especially when they're poor. We shouldn't be fucking people that are poor. And if anything, they should be geared towards a secured credit card or some kind of assistance card that helps people establish credit given by the federal government and affiliated with the major banks. It's not a big giveaway, but it does help them in the creation of their credit. Why don't we have something like that? I just thought of that. Why isn't that a thing? Why don't we do that? Why are we giving immigrants $15,000, flying them in here, doing all this crazy shit just to buy people's votes? Why aren't we just doing that and helping poor people and doing, again, poor people will benefit from no overtime tax because it uses meritocracy as an enabler. If you work an extra 20 hours a week, yes, are you giving up time with your family? Yes. But now you don't have any tax on your overtime. And if you're making 50% more on whatever you were going to do, then you're raking in money that you can help yourself and your family and invest and spend more in the economy. And you're taking the poorest part of our society and you're enriching them and allowing them to be able to help all of us by continuing this growth machine that's called the U.S. economy. You want that. Not taxing Social Security helps the elderly. The elderly desperately need, most of them are on fixed incomes. They might have a 401k or something, but they also have Social Security. Some of them, all they have is Social Security, especially in the poorest parts of our society, the bottom 40%. It's like Social Security is their lives. So they've been screwed. Their income didn't go up enough. It did go up, but it's not enough. So taking the tax away from that would really negate a lot of the pain they've been feeling with inflation and make life a lot more bearable. And we should want that for them. All these policies are amazing. But on top of this, let's listen to this. Undecided black voters say the Trump economy was better by a 7-1 margin. Let's listen to this real quick here. This is the Daily Mail.
Hand up if you think the economy was better under Trump. And hands up if you think the economy is better under Biden and Harris. Right. Okay, 7-1. That's pretty clear.
The truth. I'm not saying he's like, of course, yeah, like I do say he has best. He still has a business mindset. I think that lended somewhat. And I think, yes, the trickle down of whatever previous stuff. And I think he just handles certain things a little better.
Who does?
Trump.
Trump. Those?
He provided more jobs, more opportunities, similar. Even though he didn't have any experience in politics, but he came in and did a much better job. If you look at the statistics now, we're far more worse now than we were before.
The best rates of black unemployment that we'd seen, like under his presidency. He literally did more for black people, which is why they're overwhelmingly switching to him. But this is 5 minutes long. I won't go into all of it. I think that's probably it, guys. Like, I just wanted to show, and I believe in this actually, all stood up to Democrats. Look at this. All stood up to Democrats. All were shot. Martin Luther King, JFK, Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, Abraham Lincoln. I don't know, man. Tell me isn't this a symbolic way of knowing that you're on the right side of history? When this guy who got shot right here, whose brother was shot too, and whose grand or whatever his brother's son is literally switching to the Republican Party and endorsing Trump. You've got Elon Musk. You got Tulsi Gabbard, another Democratic presidential candidate, one they put on a watch list where she and her husband have to get excessively searched and harassed because she just tore Kamala Harris a new one. How vindictful and horrible do you think that woman will be if she treats somebody who beat her in a debate as bad as she has Tulsi Gabbard, literally making it to where she needs to get searched aggressively every time she gets on a plane, and her husband. That's insanity, man. That's like dictatorship stuff that happens. We can't live in a world like that. I want to be on this side of history over here. Oh, it's weird doing this backwards. Over here, I want to be with these guys. I want a better future for America, and I think we should all want that. And anyway, I appreciate you guys sticking around today for as long as you have, talking about this subject. Let me look at chat real quick here and see if there's anything else we need to talk about. If I missed anything that's important, let's talk about it. Jack says, when is the debate? I think it's 10-1. C-list, the poll manipulation is what political scientists... Oh, we already said that one. Dr. Gonzo, so I learned about the resettlement assistant program in Canada. What do you know about that? JD, who is hosting the debate, though? I don't know off the top of my head. Here, I can maybe take a look. 1 second here. I'll try and type it out and see what I can find. Dr. Gonzo, yep. Yeah, so let me know what you're talking about with the resettlement assistant program in Canada. I don't know if I know a lot about that. Jax, Jesse said that is common sense. They don't have that. I think sometimes we don't give people enough credit. We need to do better at giving them the arguments and letting them understand the difference in policies. And that's on us. That's on us. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm jumping on my Facebook where I never talk about anything and just post family pics and look up what, friends were up to. But I literally wrote a big, long diatribe about politics. It's because it's on us to educate people on the differences and make them understand in the best way that we can, to whatever our ability is. Like, it's our job to try and make a difference. And you could do that just by helping out on polling. Like there's all kinds of things that we can do to help. JD, but Jesse, the media says Trump is the leader of the white supremacy movement, but you're saying he helped black people? It makes no sense. Yeah, and you know what? The Democratic Party created the KKK. The Democratic Party talked about keeping black people voting for them for hundreds of years, but they didn't say black people. So there's a whole lot of interesting stuff. The Democratic Party didn't have a black person in the House or Senate until the mid 30s, whereas Republicans had like 20 something by that time and had their first one in the 1900s. Literally, we fought a civil war about freeing black people, and the Democrats were on the other side. So I mean, like, I hope people would educate themselves, especially if you are black. I mean, if you're black and you don't know this stuff, my God, you need to work harder. Elon's purchase of X changed the course of history. I think it did. We won't know for sure. Not for another 6 weeks. BD, CBS hosting debate, I believe. That sounds cool. That should be interesting. The funny thing, I know Kamala Harris wanted to get another debate with Donald Trump with CNN, and he's like, nope, we're good. I love that. He knows his VP is going to fucking kill Waltz. That's why. That's what he knows that's coming. All right, let me see here. What else we got? CBS hoping. Dr. Gonzo, oops, under resettlement assistance program in Canada. This is what a refugee family might receive during their first year in Canada. $70,000. That's what you're indebting your country so you could spend that much money. Are you serious? Is that real? Is that a real number? Do you have a link? That's fucking insane. That makes me really sad for humanity. If we can't do better, guys, the world will burn. JD says, is CBS actually better than ABC? Here's the thing. I think it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. So with Trump can get triggered. I don't know if you guys know this about Trump, but he can be very aggressive and lose his cool and not stay focused and struggle when he gets triggered. They literally did everything to set him up in that debate to fuck him and to trigger him. And they did it very, very quickly because Kamala, they set it all up as, oh, she's, they went along with the narrative of she can't say anything. She's dumb. She's hiding. And then they loaded the deck. They gave her the questions. She practiced them to perfection, even the camera angles. And then she knew that she would not be fact checked, but Trump would be. They set that up so good. It was meant to trigger Trump. And when Trump's triggered, he's done. And that's exactly what happened. But this time around, it's J.D. Vance against Waltz. And J.D. Vance will wipe the floor with him until the room is clean. And it will happen aggressively throughout the entire debate. There is no winning for Waltz. And it will be profound. You'll know it after it's over. And we're going to do that shit live. I'm going to be there. Dr. Gonzo, $8K, that is a one-time payment first year, and some of it is for child tax credit. So they'd only get it if they have kids. But still, we can't afford this, clearly. No, it's just too expensive, man. And again, you have so many other issues to worry about. And Canada still has a higher rate of inflation, and you don't want... especially with homes. Homes are completely unaffordable. You guys let foreign investors come in and jack up the price of homes all over the country. You don't have enough supply. It would be catastrophic for Canada. You can't do that. You can't do that. Not in that country, man. But guys, I think let's call it here. It's 4 o'clock. I got other stuff to do anyway. I'm sure you guys do too. Plus, I want to be able to get that Discord up and running. I don't know if it'll happen today. I'm going to try. But if nothing else, maybe I'll make a video by tomorrow morning talking about the Discord, and then I'll try and get to the Bitcoin mining video tomorrow at 6. So I think that's it for now. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. I know I'm kind of going all over the place. I'll try and get more effective with my time, try and focus on the top stories and the things that you need to know. I'm a high school dropout who retired 4.5 years ago, and now all of a sudden I'm a YouTuber who's trying to help turn the tide of an election to save humanity. So I'm very new to all of this, and I'll continue to try and improve. And feedback is always welcome. But I love you guys. You have a good rest of your day, and then I'll let you guys know when I get my Discord up and running. Peace, guys. Let's save America together. Bye.